Hello and welcome back to Shawn's Corner. Today we're going to look at making grade sheets. We're going to use Excel. Excel is a very powerful tool, but it's also somewhat elusive. It also puts people off. So I'm going to show you some simple tricks, I think, and help you set up a simple grade sheet where today what we're going to do is calculate the scores, and then we're going to calculate percentages. Then in future segments, we're going to actually continue on this worksheet. We're going to add in other sections, and then we're going to come to the grand total. So it's a little bit of a process. But let's start off this week with a short segment on just setting it up. And then next week we'll go a little bit further, and then the following week we'll have the whole thing.
Most people work with Word, but I have to ask the question, what's your experience with Excel? I mean, is it none? Have you never tried it before? Or have you had a nightmare trying it? This is often the case of many people. Have you tried using a pre-existing spreadsheet and put in the values? Or have you maybe done some simple calculations, but you haven't figured out how to do a score sheet yet? This is the grade sheet that I want to share with you.
I'd like us to work together on creating one just like this. So it'll take a few steps, but we'll be able to do it. So by the end of this session, you're going to be able to label parts of the grade sheet for entering in scores. You're going to be able to add up scores and finally calculate percentages.
What I want to do now is to help you get there, to get this worksheet all made up, this grade sheet. So the first thing we have to think about is we have to know about how many points we have for each section of an exam or a part of an exam. In this case, we're going to work with the preliminary for schools exam at the B1 level, Cambridge exam. And there are 4 parts. There's reading, there is writing, there is listening, and there is speaking. Today we're only going to work with reading, and there are 6 parts in the reading. You can see on the right-hand side of the screen here that there are 6 parts and the number of questions and the number of marks for each part. There will be a total of 32 points. Kind of an odd number, but that's fine, because what we'll do at the end is get a percentage. So I've got my my grade sheet all set up. I put in a header. You don't need to do this. You'll actually see last how to do this, how to put a header in like this. Just leave yourself one line. So line 1, just leave blank. And let's start now by labeling each column that we're going to have. And what I do is I usually grab onto A, the line to the right of A, and I make it a little bit bigger because I want to put in student name. Because we need to put in a class list here so that we can put in each student's scores. So I put in student name. I am going to bold it. So I'm going to click on the B. I like to bold all of these, in fact. So now, part 1, also I'm going to bold it. Okay. Part 1, oh, it didn't bold. Okay, here it bolded. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and bold the other 5 parts. So it's part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, part 6. And I'm going to bold what's called the total. And I'm going to bold what's called percentage, the percentage of this part. So let me just bold them all. Okay, they're bolded. So by clicking on cells and dragging your mouse to one side or the other, you can select multiple cells at one time. So now we're in part 2. So let me type in part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, oops, my typing isn't so good today, part 6, the total, and percentage. Oops, percentage. Okay. Now, this is something that I always do. I put in the model student, sort of the sample student. Please excuse me, I'm going to go over here to a class list that I've already got set up. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here. Now I've got my sample, who's the perfect student. This sample, I put a star before it because any non-numeric character comes before anything that I want to alphabetize. You'll see here that I've got everything out of order. I would not like to have Zay first and have Ana kind of towards the end. I would like to have Ana first, and then João, then Miguel, and so on. There is a function for doing this, in fact. It's here. I'm going to have to extend this a little bit here. It's sort and filter. So you can actually sort A to Z and alphabetize everything. I'm going to continue the current selection, which means I'm just going to alphabetize the names. You need to do this before you put in any numbers, because if you don't, before you put in the numbers, you will actually be separating these people from their scores. So do it first. So I've got sample, now I've got Ana, João, Miguel, Raquel, and Zay. Okay. Now we can redimension this so we can see once again how many points in each part. Part 1 has 5 points, so that's my total possible. Part 2 has 5 points, Part 3 has 5 points, Part 4 has 5 points, Part 5 has 6 points, Part 6 has 6 points. Okay, now I could put in 32 here, but I want to check my calculations. I want to add up each student's scores. I don't want to have to do this manually. So this is our first calculation. And what we're going to do is go to insert function here. There's another way to do this, but we're going to insert function because it's best. What you call adding up things is a sum. So I'm going to take and click on sum, and it calculates what I want to do, in fact. It's very nice. I want to have the sum of B3, which is here, the third row. B is the column, all the way to G3. Now just imagine I only wanted the first sum, the first ones. I didn't want that last one. Let's just imagine that. So we could do this. See, it's B3 to F3 now. But in fact, I want through G3. So once I'm done, I can click here on done, or I can hit enter. Okay, I'm going to put done. And I can close this now. You see this little formula builder will go away. And I've got 32, which actually corresponds to what I had here. Now, I want to get the percentage. There are many different ways of doing this. My way is, and this is so that you always keep in mind how many points you have, is to take and do another function, another equation, which will be the product of, which means multiplication, so product of not all of this stuff, actually only the product of H3, which is this cell, and the second number will be 1 over the 32 points that we have. So 1 over 32. And it gives me 1. Well, 1 is actually 100%. So what I want to do is, let me put this bigger. You can see that there's usually in your taskbar a percentage sign. You can click on the percentage, or you can go here and you can choose percentage. I'll do that. And now it gives me 100%. It actually gives me 100.00%. If I don't want all of those extra zeros, I can decrease my decimal places like this. Or I could leave 1 decimal place, which is kind of nice sometimes to see just how far off somebody is from the next percentage. I'm going to hit enter so that I don't lose it. Okay. So that's done. Now let's copy this formula here. Let's copy actually this formula. So I'm going to go Control C, or you can do your whatever you like to do for copying. And I'm going to do Control V for pasting. And now what Excel has done is really cool. It has changed the row number. So it's B4 to G4. And it will do the same thing over here. So here it's got H3 from row 3. But when I paste it here, it's going to actually change to H4 automatically. And I can do that for the rest of the class, which is great because you don't have to do these formulas each time. So I'm going to go all the way down to here. Let's just check the last line. B8 to G8. Oh yeah, that's row 8. Okay, that's fine. Let's do the same here. Okay, H8 times 1 over 32. Okay, good. So now let's just imagine Anna is a pretty good student. She got 4 here, and 5 here, and 4, and 5, and 5, and 6. She got 29 points. She almost got 91%. So it's working properly. Whether you have 1 student, 2 students, or 22 students, the process is all the same. So you could, extend very far down here.
Are you following me so far? I hope so, because it's really going to be worth it when it's done.
We've come a long ways. We've got our grade sheet quite far along. But I realized that I forgot something, which is I did not label this section, because I would like to probably remind myself that this is the reading section. It simply makes it easier to know in which areas students have done well or not. At any rate, what I need to do here now, you're going to learn a new trick, is I need to add another line. There are a couple ways of doing this. First of all, you can go over here to the home ribbon, insert, and insert a row. Rows go this way, columns go this way. So insert a row. Okay, and I'm going to take that out again. You can also do it this way. Insert rows. Okay, it's all yellow. I don't really want that. What it's done is copied the color from up here. I can simply go to the fill color here, which is like a paint can, and I can put in no fill, and now it's just normal. Yeah, you see it. Okay. This, from part 1 all the way over to percentage, pertains to reading. So I want to do another thing, which is called merging and centering. You can also find this under formatting, but let's do it here on this little radial tab, merge and center. All right. I'll make the font quite big. 16 point might be nice. Okay. And finally, I want to shade it so that we have some color to help us. So I'm going to color it light blue. Yeah, this one looks good. Okay, so this is my reading. Let me bold it as well, just to make it a little more apparent. Okay, so now this is the reading part. It's all ready to go. One last thing, I guess, is wouldn't I like to have these kind of lines here? When they're gray like this, it means they will not print out. So I think I will select all of these, and I'll go up here to this box sort of thing, and I'll put in all borders because this will put in some nice grid lines. The next thing I should probably do is I should take out Anna's scores because those weren't real scores. There is a way of clearing contents. I do a right click, clear contents, and you can get rid of all of the numbers. And so now it's back to 0. Wow, that looks good.
And there you have it. There's your grade sheet. It's already started and it's ready to add up particular parts of the exam. And then later we're going to work on averaging out the parts and getting the entire grade sheet all finished. So come see us again next week. And also we're looking forward to seeing you in the teacher's room. Bye.